What is slope debris? Slope debris, also known as talus, refers to the accumulation of rock fragments, soil, and other debris that has fallen from the slopes of hills, mountains, and other elevated terrain. Slope debris can form a distinctive layer of loose, unconsolidated material at the base of steep slopes, and can have a significant impact on the landscape and the ecological processes that occur within it. Slope debris can be formed by a variety of processes, including freeze-thaw cycles, landslides, rockfalls, and erosion. Freeze-thaw cycles occur when water seeps into cracks and crevices in rocks, freezes, and expands, causing the rock to fracture and break apart. Landslides and rockfalls can occur when the slope becomes unstable due to changes in the underlying geology, erosion, or other factors, causing rocks and other debris to fall and accumulate at the base of the slope. Slope debris can have a significant impact on the landscape and the ecological processes that occur within it. It can alter the flow of water, nutrients, and sediment, creating new microhabitats for plants and animals. The accumulation of slope debris can also increase the risk of flooding and erosion, as well as the potential for landslides and rockfalls in the future. Slope debris can be studied by geologists and other scientists to gain insights into the history of the landscape and the geological processes that have shaped it. By analyzing the composition and age of the slope debris, scientists can gain insights into the types of rocks and minerals that make up the underlying geology, as well as the timing and frequency of geological events such as landslides and rockfalls. In addition to its scientific significance, slope debris can also have practical applications in fields such as construction and engineering. Slope debris can be used as a construction material, such as for building retaining walls, or for stabilizing slopes and preventing erosion. Slope debris can also be used as a source of aggregate for concrete and other construction materials. Overall, slope debris is an important component of the landscape, with a range of ecological, geological, and practical applications. Its accumulation at the base of slopes can provide important insights into the history of the landscape and the geological processes that have shaped it, while also posing challenges and opportunities for those who seek to work with and manage the landscape. What are the characteristics of slope debris? Slope debris, also known as talus, is a type of unconsolidated sedimentary material that accumulates at the base of steep slopes due to weathering, erosion, and gravitational processes. Slope debris can consist of a variety of materials, including rocks, boulders, gravel, sand, and soil, and can have a range of characteristics that reflect its composition and mode of formation. Size and shape. Slope debris can range in size from tiny pebbles to large boulders, depending on the size of the rocks that have broken off the slope above. The debris can have irregular shapes, with sharp angles and jagged edges, reflecting the way that the rocks have fractured and broken apart. Composition. Slope debris can be composed of a range of different materials, including igneous, sedimentary, and metamorphic rocks, as well as soil and other organic material. The composition of the debris can provide important clues about the underlying geology of the slope, and can be used to reconstruct the history of the landscape. Sorting. Slope debris can be sorted by size, with larger rocks and boulders typically found at the base of the slope, and smaller rocks and sediment closer to the top. This reflects the way that the debris has been transported and deposited by gravity and other processes. Texture. Slope debris can have a range of textures, depending on the size and shape of the rocks and the degree of weathering and erosion that they have undergone. The debris can be rough and jagged, or smooth and rounded, depending on the extent to which the rocks have been worn down by the elements. Consolidation. Slope debris is typically unconsolidated, meaning that the individual rocks and particles are not firmly cemented together. However, over time, the debris can become more consolidated as sediment and other materials accumulate on top, creating a layer of sedimentary rock known as breccia or conglomerate. Ecological significance. Slope debris can provide important habitats for a variety of plants and animals, including small mammals, reptiles, and insects. The accumulation of debris can create new microhabitats, such as crevices and fissures, that provide shelter and resources for these organisms. Overall, slope debris is a complex and heterogeneous material that reflects the processes of weathering, erosion, and gravitational transport that shape the landscape. Its characteristics can provide important insights into the history and composition of the underlying geology, as well as its ecological significance as a habitat for a variety of organisms. Is the slope debris earthquake resistant? Slope debris, also known as talus, is generally not considered to be earthquake resistant. Slope debris is made up of unconsolidated sedimentary material that accumulates at the base of steep slopes due to weathering, erosion, and gravitational processes. These materials are not tightly bound together, and they are not capable of withstanding the strong shaking and ground movements that can occur during earthquakes. During an earthquake, the ground can experience strong shaking and vibrations, which can cause the slope debris to become destabilized and shift or slide downhill. The shaking can cause the individual rocks and particles in the debris to become dislodged and move, creating a landslide or rockfall that can damage infrastructure, homes, and other structures in the surrounding area. In areas with steep slopes and a history of seismic activity, slope debris can pose a significant hazard to human safety and infrastructure. Landslides and rockfalls triggered by earthquakes can cause extensive damage to roads, bridges, and other infrastructure, as well as posing a risk to people who may be in the vicinity of the debris. In some cases, efforts can be made to stabilize slope debris in order to reduce the risk of landslides and rockfalls. These efforts may involve the use of retaining walls, barriers, or other engineering measures to prevent the debris from sliding downhill. However, even with these measures in place, slope debris remains vulnerable to earthquake-induced shaking and ground movements. Overall, slope debris is not considered to be earthquake-resistant, and can pose a significant hazard to human safety and infrastructure in areas with steep slopes and a history of seismic activity. As such, it is important for communities and individuals living in these areas to be aware of the risks posed by slope debris, and to take appropriate measures to mitigate these risks where possible. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications.